Hello, it's Mrs Glasson and welcome to today's tutorial on the second of our bilabial plosives, P or P. And now, funnily enough, some of my favourite words begin with P. So, for example, I could talk to you about the differences between being parsimonious and being profligate. I could focus on the many differences between perspicacity and perspicuity. I could lecture you on the ills of being excessively pusillanimous. I could even talk to you about my favourite word that I like to use in emails, propitious. So students, without further ado, are you ready? Let's go. Wonderful words beginning with P. So here we are, parsimony and profligacy, pusillanimous, perspicacious, perspicuity and propitious. Bit of grammar. Parts of speech. Parsimony is an abstract noun. Profligacy is an abstract noun. Pusillanimous is an adjective. Perspicacious is, of course, an adjective. Perspicuity is an abstract noun. And propitious is, of course, an adjective. Abstract nouns in red and adjectives in blue. So, English students, 11 plus students, Key Stage 3 students, Key Stage 4 and 5 students, and students who I know are joining me from the far-flung corners of the world who are learning English as a foreign language. These are the kind of words rewarded by English examiners like me. And all English students, this is an example of excellent vocabulary. If you are using words like this, then your English is definitely impressive. How do I know? Well, for a number of years, I marked exam scripts for a very large GCSE exam board. When my children were younger, it was ideal. I used to stay home and do lots of marking. When I worked in the independent sector, I used to write entrance exams for independent schools and mark them. I worked at Sutton Grammar School. I used to mark the 11 plus creative writing paper. And of course, I marked hundreds of GCSE scripts as well, my own students' mock tests and essays. So when I talk about the mark scheme and the kind of vocabulary that's rewarded by English teachers, I really do know what I'm talking about. So what about these fantastic words then? Well, I spend quite a bit of time teaching this vocabulary in the foundation course and revising it in the 11 plus revision course. In the foundation course, I teach over 200 new words, and in the revision course, over 300. And you don't need to be an 11 plus student to enjoy my courses. You just need to be someone who wants to improve their English. So you will learn fabulous grammar, comprehension skills, and you will learn all the basics to become a really fantastic writer. So go to www.mrsglasson.com to find out more, or send me an email to tuition@mrsglasson.com or a WhatsApp to the number that's shown on my Facebook page. So basically, I love these words and I teach them all the time. So I'm not going to teach them all over again. But you know where you can go if you want to learn them from me. And looking at the level of this vocabulary, is it any wonder that my students are ahead of the rest? Pulchritudinous. And again, let's do that fascinating thing where we check the pronunciation.
Pulchritudinous, pulchritudinous, pulchritudinous.
There we are on my other computer. Pulchritudinous. Pulchritude meaning beauty, which is of course an abstract noun. So why do I find pulchritudinous so fascinating? Well, to me, phonetically, it's not a particularly beautiful word. In fact, it's quite ugly. That voiceless velar stop there, pulchritudinous, it just doesn't really sound very attractive. So there's an anomaly there, a paradox, a word that sounds rather ugly for beautiful, pulchritudinous and pulchritude. And now one of the first things that I do in my live lessons is to teach fantastic synonyms for very basic words like angry or big or small, and for beautiful or pulchritudinous. But again, I'm not going to be doing that again. You can do that yourselves. Look up pulchritudinous, look up pulchritude, and Google great synonyms and antonyms. As I always say, be proactive, be curious, because proactive learners are successful, happy learners. And I know my students, you have heard me use that word many times and that phrase, be a proactive learner. So students, that brings me to my next word, proactive. So integral in my favourite phrase, be a proactive learner. Now, it's so important. What does that actually mean? Well, by proactive and being a proactive learner, I mean work on your own initiative, be independent, be self-motivated. And that's a really integral part of my pedagogy. Another great word beginning with P, but what does it mean? My method and practice of teaching. So it's so important. Let me just explain a little bit further. So here, once again, be a proactive learner. Take charge of your learning. Don't wait for someone to tell you what something means. Find out for yourself. I've been doing that today and in previous tutorials. Act on your targets for improvement. That's really important. As my live online students know, I always set targets for improvement on their spelling tests, their comprehension tests, and definitely on their creative writing tasks as well. So be curious, be an independent learner, and my foundation and revision courses contain really clear assessments for learning which show you how to be independent learners and also show you how to improve. So in my opinion, it's the job of all teachers, regardless of your subject, to encourage children and to motivate them to become proactive learners, because proactive learners are happy, successful learners. And that is part of my pedagogy, something that I have been practicing and has stood me in great stead for the last 30 years. And on that subject, you see what I did there? In Wonderful Words beginning with N, and if you haven't seen it, you need to see it, I taught you this fantastic word, nefarious, meaning extremely wicked or heinous. And I gave you these synonyms: evil, sinful, villainous, immoral, iniquitous. And I told you to try and find out what this synonym is. So beginning with P, ending with S, and a synonym for nefarious. So now you can see what I was doing. I was encouraging you to be a proactive learner, and a happy learner, I hope, and a successful one. So did you find out the word? Pernicious. Well done if you got that right. If you didn't, it doesn't matter. Maybe you can look it up and find some more synonyms and more antonyms. And you can write it down in that notebook that I hope you've been keeping of wonderful words. So, proactive learning, which is part of my pedagogy. What a fantastic note to end on. And next time, there's going to be more proactive learning and more pedagogy because we're going to be looking at wonderful words beginning with Q. But make sure you hit the pink subscribe button. That's the last word beginning with P, so that you can join in and you don't miss out and you can watch these tutorials and elevate your lexis, make your diction more dexterous and make your English exemplary. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you again next time.